All right, so this is bar replay mode. This is ES on the hourly, and this is NQ on the hourly. And this is just before market open. As you can see, overnight, it was just a chop fest, really. We got pretty close to this psychological level, which is like 7,500, and we started to see weakness in the pre-market. And really coming in, we had all this built up liquidity and a large 4-hour daily and hourly gap down here. So it was a lot of liquidity to target. And if we look over at NQ here, we have an SMT. So as you can see here, all higher highs, all lower highs. And really it looked like it wanted to come down into this hourly gap. So saying that, was I looking to take shorts today? Hell no. The market has just been so incredibly bullish, as I've said in previous recaps, that yeah, I'm not looking. There's just no expansion, and like even here, if we took out any of these lows, I just think it's going to reverse quite quickly. So anyway, we'll take a look at how the market opened, and I'll keep NQ open here. So coming into the day, we have a large SMT. So as you can see, is ES higher high, NQ lower low. So I just wanted to see how the market reacted on market open. We come down here. We had a 5-minute inversion that we tapped into, and as you can see over here, we took out Asia lows on NQ. On ES, we just dipped into this inversion, and on market open, bang, we just started moving. Even with this, we kept producing these SMTs. As you see, like we're taking out these highs here. NQ is about doing the same, but we're I just want to say at this time we're only at, what time is it? 9:45. So really, I was marking out, say, this 5-minute fair value gap here. I'll make this a little bigger. I was like, oh, let's see how price just reacts to this. And coming up to 10 a.m. we started to see price sell off. I'll keep NQ open in the corner here so you can see how it reacted. We started to see, I wouldn't say sell off, but we started to see a decent pullback to the point that here we inverted this, came down, and right down here at the very bottom you'll see there actually is a 5-minute fair value gap that we came down and tapped into, and the same thing on NQ over here. So still bullish. Structurally, we put in a higher high, and we're just coming back to fill the inefficiencies here. So at this point in time, am I open to seeing weakness on a retrace and then rolling over? I am. I wouldn't be that enthusiastic about taking it, as I said, because we are in such heavy bullish conditions, but open to it. Really what I was looking at here is, if we look just this inefficiency, this is the extreme of the inefficiency here. So what I wanted to see, if I could see price reverse here with momentum, I would be inclined to take a trade to the upside. That'd be enough to tell me that this was just a pullback and we're going to continue what we've been doing for weeks on end, which is just going higher at all-time highs. So bang, that was enough for me, honestly. So I took a long here. My stop was quite wide. And when I have a trade like this and I'm not sure where to target, especially going into all-time highs, I really try to shoot for a minimum of a 1.5R. And I usually use, I think my entry must have been higher. My entry was 9.7. Yeah, so I use the fib extension. The 1618 works out quite well for me. So with this trade here, because I was a little dicey about the fact we were taking out a psychological level, I put a break-even point. So as soon as price got up here, I was going to take my stop to break even and then let the trade play out. So there you go. Once we got here, took my stop to break even, and I let it play out. And I had a lot of courage that conviction that this was going to go. I originally actually had my take profit here at the 1.14, but I pushed it all the way up to the 1618. And what inspired that was just the fact that NQ was showing such bullish displacement, and it hadn't taken out its all-time high yet, which I thought was quite probable. With that being probable, I thought this had plenty more juice in the tank to keep moving. As you can see, we just ripped right through it and all the way up to this 2618 extension. And yeah, we're hovering here. What time is it? Yeah, we're coming up to noon, so typically this is where we would see a pullback. But also as well, in terms of me pushing, when I was in the trade here, a big reason when I had my target here, I was more inclined to push higher. Once we got, you see there's this 5-minute gap here, when we aggressively pushed down into it and was bought right back up, for me that was like, all right, that's enough of a retrace. I think we've cleared all those inefficiencies. I think it has the momentum now to shoot for this higher target. So yeah, no, it's a great trade. It's been a great week, great couple of weeks. As I said, the one thing I have changed in my trading given these conditions is typically I would just take full position. I always take, I don't partial, I let the whole, I don't, but what I wasn't doing in the past is typically I would just left this at maybe like a 1-to-1, probably taking it here and just taking my profits here and not adjusted my stop. Given that we're moving with such heavy momentum, I'm letting my trades breathe to a minimum of a 1.5R minimum, hopefully more, and then just putting in wherever structurally I think is the most likely place price could turn around. As soon as we reach there, I'll make a note of that prior to entering the trade. This is pre-planned, and then I'll move my stop to break even to protect my capital. And just because we're seeing such velocity in terms of how price moves, typically it's not going to come back to my stop point. Again, given market conditions, it's just so heavily, it's such heavily directional price action that you can really get away with doing this. Whereas in more rangy conditions, I'll go back to taking my 1 to 1.5 Rs more consistently. But yeah, when conditions are this way, let it breathe. Even today, like God, I could have really pushed it. You know, like I could have probably got a 1.4R no problem. But it's just hard to know. Like this is all in hindsight. When you're in blue sky breakout territory, it's very hard to know where you're being greedy, and especially given I always keep an eye on even SPX. And yeah, here's the psychological level of 7,500. A lot of people are going to have their sell orders here, so I just don't want to be like pushing my luck too heavily when we're getting up to places where typically we would find retraces. Yeah, so it's I'll touch base tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I don't think we've got any news. I de-risk on Fridays to half hour, so this will be a profitable week no matter what happens tomorrow, and hopefully more of the same next week.